Bonsoir à tous, bienvenue sur ce live The Stanley Parable. Bon visionnage. Bon là par contre je suis désolé, hein, je vais jouer en plein écran, donc si vous m'envoyez des messages je les verrai pas avant de quitter le jeu ou de faire une pause. Bon visionnage. Je vais juste vérifier que vous voyez bien et ça a l'air d'être bon. Allons-y. Donc là concrètement il s'agit d'une histoire, enfin voilà. Vous verrez assez vite de quoi il s'agit.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Stanley just stood there doing nothing at all. He seems to think I have nothing better to do with my time than to sit around and describe every fascinating little detail of his inability to do anything. This is why Stanley and I are on such good terms.
Bref, ça y est, j'ai tout regardé.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Bon, là je vous montre justement, je fais tout ce qu'il dit pour vous montrer la vraie histoire.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Quel est ce foutu code que je ne sais pas, que je ne connais pas?
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Ouais, je n'ai aucun moyen de le savoir.
2845. Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo. Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all. paralyzing chill of uncertainty.
Bon là j'ai bêtement suivi l'histoire.
Was it over?
Comme vous avez pu le voir, il y a plein d'endroits où je pouvais faire l'inverse de ce qu'il me disait.
He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Bon ça j'ai envie de dire c'est la fin normale. Là le jeu va recommencer. En fait à peu près chaque étape de l'histoire on peut faire autre chose que ce que dit le narrateur. Et ça va avoir des effets sur l'histoire. Là par exemple voilà je viens de commencer le jeu. Si je referme ma porte. Voilà.
Whatever crucial outcome fell under his responsibility, he had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Voilà. Là l'histoire c'était je reste dans mon bureau pour toujours. Bon, allons-y. De toute façon je crois que dans ce bureau il n'y a rien de plus à faire.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Bon, je peux rien faire de plus ici. Hein? Ah oui, je peux ouvrir et fermer les portes. Ouais, c'est juste que c'est un truc que je fais jamais d'habitude. Bon, celle-ci, je peux pas l'ouvrir. Bon, allez. Après, je peux pas tellement. Ici, je vais dans celle de droite. Oui, c'est ce que je vais faire. Voilà.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
De toute façon, je crois qu'en plus, même si je reste ici, il n'y a rien de spécial
At
après.
this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left. Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Je vais attendre un peu quand même. Je vais voir s'il a autre chose à dire. J'avoue que vous entendez une touche de clavier là, c'est parce que je clique. Je peux même pas prendre une boisson, j'ai soif moi. Ah, je peux m'accroupir. Par contre, je ne peux pas sauter, au cas où vous vous poseriez la question. Mais je peux m'accroupir. Ça par contre, je viens juste de l'apprendre. J'ai jamais vraiment essayé, faut dire. C'est pas franchement utile pour la suite du jeu. À moins qu'il y ait des fins qui nécessitent de s'accroupir, mais je suis pas sûr. Bon, allez, je crois qu'il n'y a rien de plus à faire ici.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Est-ce que je vais à gauche vraiment? Est-ce que j'en ai envie? Non.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Bon, je vais y retourner, enfin je vais refaire la même connerie, sauf que cette fois-ci...
Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted.
Ouais.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ouais, cette fois-ci je vais à gauche. Mais je crois que là je suis toujours dans l'histoire précédente.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Le carabin. Bon, effectivement, il n'y a rien ici.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Bon, après, là, concrètement, il n'y a rien à faire. Hein. Hop. En plus, voilà, quand on sort, on se retrouve exactement au même endroit.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
J'ai pas envie
Although
d'aller.
this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Je me demande ce qui va se passer si jamais j'y reviens. Il est possible que des choses changent, des fois.
But of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for. Nope, still on board with death.
Bon allez, j'ai quand même envie d'aller au bout du tunnel, voir ce qu'il y a. Même s'il paraît que c'est une mort violente. Je veux voir de quelle mort il s'agit.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Voilà. Alors, où est-ce que j'atterris, moi?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated, as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Ouais, bon.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
peinture. Ordinateur de Stanley. Ah oui, d'accord. Là, faut pas se laisser avoir, hein. C'est-à-dire que même si ça a l'air d'être un bonus, il s'agit toujours d'une partie. Là, c'est bien parce que justement, ça permet de voir un petit peu comment le jeu a été fait. Enfin, en tout cas, c'est ce qui s'explique. Bon, là, en gros, ça explique qu'au tout début, il y avait une fin de prévue dans laquelle Stanley devait se retrouver sur un champ de bataille à combattre des aliens. Mais du coup, ils l'ont arrêté parce que, enfin, ils l'ont pas gardé parce que ça a donné l'impression qu'ils se moquaient des gens qui aimaient les shooters, quoi. Voilà. Ça n'était bien évidemment pas son but. Alors, where is the king coming? N'importe quoi. Est-ce que jouer à The Stanley Parable va m'aider à faire des amis? J'ai pas d'amis. Bon, allez. Ah. Cargo lift. Meeting room. Là, on voit différents choix, par exemple, qui mènent chacune à une fin différente. Sending. D'accord. Bon, après, c'est pas une fin à laquelle j'ai déjà eu accès, ça. Ok. domaine ouais. D'accord. Alors, non, je vais pas descendre tout de suite. Ah, d'accord. Je vais peut-être monter voir ce qu'il y a là-bas d'abord. J'ai pas envie de tout de suite continuer. Et moi, ça m'intéresse de voir tout ça. Après, il y a un certain nombre d'éléments qu'on peut voir justement en fonction des différents. Enfin, en se dirigeant vers telle ou telle fin, on peut justement rencontrer certains des éléments qu'on a vus là, mais que vous n'avez pas encore vu.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only truth.
Ouais, je sais pas.
This is the story of a...
Ah ouais. Ça va, je suis au courant. Je peux passer le début.
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Non, je veux pas. Justement, je vais retourner ici. Sauf que cette fois, je vais ici. Hop.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door. All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for us. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. Clearly there's something here that speaks to you. If I can be honest here, I really don't have any idea where I'm going with this. This whole third door thing was just a stab in the dark. But I guess you're into it, so let's keep this party train rolling. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Cool.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
Ouais, j'adore.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some play testing. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Alors là, je suis sur une histoire que je ne connais pas du tout. Hein.
Baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience. You heartless bastard. Do you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes. This seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Huh?
Well, Stanley, is this any better? At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here. No, here. And then...
Je peux absolument rien faire.
Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off... Yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. Ah, but you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable.
Et si je veux pas? La question c'est puis-je rester à l'extérieur? Moi je pense que je vais pas trop avoir le choix en fait. Sinon je pense qu'il y aurait déjà une réplique me demandant de...
Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes, yes, yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
Ok. Et vu que je ne peux pas sauter, ça veut dire qu'à chaque fois que je vais m'enfoncer, je pourrai pas revenir en arrière. De toute façon, je vais être obligé de descendre.
It looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
Si j'avais su qu'il y avait du Minecraft
This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
Alors dans quoi on va être cette fois-ci?
Yes, I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Bon, du coup, je peux pas... Ah si. Est-ce que je peux avoir le portal gun au moins? Non, j'ai pas l'impression. Tout est déjà défini à l'avance.
It's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. You're 40.
Ouais, c'est les premiers niveaux du premier portal, ça.
No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games, and I highly doubt you're any wiser for the experience. Which is why, rather than continue to waste my time, I'm just going to leave you here. You can pretend you've beaten the game if it makes it any richer for you, but as for me, I've had enough. So, why don't you get cozy in this room, and if you have any grand revolutionary ideas for the...
Où suis-je? D'accord. Dans des trucs pas finis. Enfin, normalement. Ah, ok. I'm making another year, huge success. I can't overtake my satisfaction. Aperture science. We do what we must because we can. For the good of all of us, except the ones who are dead. But there's nothing crying over every mistake. Bon, ah, enfin de la lumière. Qu'est-ce qu'on a ici? Bon, je peux rien faire de plus là, de toute façon. Ok. À quoi ça me sert de venir ici? Est-ce que ça sert à quelque chose même? Ah. Ok.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Ouais. Disons que dans une histoire, il y a tellement d'embranchements possibles que pour avoir toutes les fins, c'est vraiment extrêmement difficile. Parce que là, ça veut dire qu'il faudrait que je refasse les mêmes choses qu'avant, mais en changeant juste un petit truc, par exemple. Enfin bref, je vais aller à gauche. Comme il dit, hop.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Je suis jamais venu ici. I've got the feeling money is for stealing, but not yours, of course. De toute façon, il n'y a rien de spécial à faire ici.
The moment
c'est fermé. C'est fermé aussi, ok. Bon, de toute façon, il semble que je puisse plus aller là-haut. Bon, je vais être obligé de redescendre. Déjà, cette porte-là ne s'est pas fermée, ce qui est vraiment bizarre. En fait, là, ça me force à aller en bas, j'ai l'impression. À moins que je puisse retourner là. Hop. Il n'y a plus de narrateur. Comment ça se fait? Ou alors j'ai fait quelque chose qui n'était pas prévu par le jeu. Là, ça me paraît très bizarre quand même. Hein. Et je veux dire, il y a tellement de trucs qui sont prévus par ce jeu que... toutes les portes sont ouvertes. Non, il y a un vrai problème. Enfin, un problème. Il y a vraiment quelque chose là. Ah, c'est marrant ça. Je suis jamais venu ici. Ok, bon, je suis obligé de prendre les escaliers. C'est ça aussi, dans ce jeu-là, il y a tellement de fins différentes en fonction de ce qu'on fait ou pas, que chaque partie est différente, finalement. À moins de savoir vraiment, enfin, à moins vraiment de se souvenir de toutes les actions qu'on a faites pour refaire une histoire qu'on a déjà faite. Mais là, je vois plus grand-chose. Ah. Je pense que le fait d'être descendu puis remonté, déjà ça a eu une influence. Vu que je n'ai pas exactement suivi ce qu'a dit le narrateur, même s'il m'a pas repris derrière en disant attention, t'es sur le mauvais chemin. 759. Je vais y arriver au moins. Ah, quand même. Ah, il y a quelque chose là-bas. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? D'accord. Je me suis échappé en gros.
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started. And if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Allez,
And so he
je vais faire
detoured through
plaisir.
the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back
Alors
on
là,
track.
j'ai le choix d'aller en face ou de descendre. Hein. Voire même de rebrousser chemin. Mais je crois que la porte était fermée en fait.
He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
Ok.
Oh, no.
No.
No, it's to the right. My mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh, dear. Would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep. Okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Ok, de toute façon, j'ai pas le choix cette fois-ci. Ah oui.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay. From the top. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be...
Il y a trop de portes.
Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Là, je sais vers quelle fin je suis en train de me diriger, pour une fois. Enfin, je dis ça, mais si ça se trouve, il y a des embranchements qui font que je vais pas aller à la fin qui a commencé de cette manière. Bon, par contre, effectivement, là, je sais pas du
I'll
tout.
say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not? All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Non, bah, du coup, non. C'est pas la même histoire que... Enfin, c'est pas la même fin que celle que je pensais.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Ah bah si, en fait, c'est dans le prolongement.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps. Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time, I have to restart. All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable adventure line. Just follow the line. How simple is that? You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on.
Bon, là, on voit que la ligne elle-même, elle commence à faire n'importe quoi.
Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood. Cut the music, go back and look at that fern. Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story is... Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Non, j'avais jamais vu cette fin-là.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
C'est pas comme si on avait le choix de toute façon, là.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Ouais. Ah d'accord. non, non, du coup non, fallait bien continuer. Et ça donne l'impression que c'est un carré, alors que je crois que c'est pas un vrai carré en fait. Ouais, non, c'est de plus en plus court. Euh, Ça donne l'impression que c'est un carré, mais c'en est pas un.
Oh no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Est-ce que ça sert à quelque chose que je revienne en arrière? Je suis pas sûr. Non, bon, on va continuer. Hein. Ils ont juste dit que je devais pas faire attention à la ligne. De toute manière, vu là où elle va, je peux pas vraiment la suivre.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Je peux pas aller à gauche, bon, dommage.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait, you know. I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
Bon, c'était la fin d'une histoire à nouveau.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ah non, c'est la même... Ah non, c'est bon, j'ai cru qu'il n'y avait pas de porte.
Came to a set of two open doors. He entered the door on his left.
Celle de gauche, est-ce que je fais celle de gauche? Non.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Non.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
Je vais attendre.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps
Pas comme
we've
tout à
gotten
l'heure.
off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy.
Je vais pas aller juste ici, on a
I
déjà
realize that
vu.
investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone. As Stanley picked up the phone, a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly. I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person, but if used incorrectly can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack." Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Ah, il m'a même mis des barrières maintenant pour que je puisse pas tomber.
We can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Me voilà revenu.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world. Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Je peux pas accéder aux toilettes cette fois-ci. Je peux pas aller à l'ascenseur non plus.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Je sais même pas si ça peut vraiment marcher. Enfin, je veux dire, est-ce qu'ils prennent...
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver right there on the wall.
White Shark 115.
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Ouais, mais je peux pas le dire. Requin marteau 115.
Fine, you're not gonna do it, but you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine.
De toute façon, je crois pas que ça...
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
De toute façon, dans ce jeu-là, je crois qu'il n'y a même pas de... Ah, il n'y a pas de reconnaissance de vocal, hein, de toute façon, donc... Et puis que dans le jeu lui-même, je peux pas parler.
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late. Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.
C'était complètement de bazar.
I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You. Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this.
The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
Bon, allez. On va pas non plus passer la nuit dessus. Enfin, on pourrait, hein, mais... Donc voilà, c'était The Stanley Parable. Un jeu que personnellement j'aime beaucoup. Dans lequel justement on peut faire un peu ce qu'on veut. Bon ben, coucou les gens, je viens de voir que vous êtes là. Comment vous allez? Oui, donc Jean, pour info, c'était The Stanley Parable. Moi, ça va. Et coucou Farah, du coup que j'ai raté, dommage. Bon. Du coup, je vais quand même vous dire au revoir. Parce que je bosse demain et que... Ouais, ben voilà, comme vous dites, c'est vrai que je suis crevé. Donc je vais m'arrêter là et puis ben, de toute façon, je ferai une nouvelle vidéo plus tard. Il n'y a pas de souci. Bonne soirée.